Today we're learning how to do an underarm serve. Just like that. I call it the underarm serve, some people call it the underhand serve. It doesn't matter. We're learning how to do our first serve. The reason why this serve's taught first is because we can generate a lot of power with this motion and it's quite simple to do. I recommend learning the serve if it's your first serve ever or you're struggling to generate power with your overarm serve. Let's get into it. There's 3 keys I want you to think about. The first one is 10-pin bowling. Strike!
Who do you think you are? I am!
10-pin bowling is another sport, but it uses the exact same movement that we want to use in our underarm serve. And those movements are our steps and the motion of our arm. In 10-pin bowling, a lot of us step up, 1, 2, throw. Now look at my stance. I've got my left foot forward, which is perfect for generating power like this, and a very good habit to get into for your spikes and your overarm serves. It also allows me to wind my arm back and swing straight through. So if you've ever played 10-pin bowling, this is going to be easy for you. Just one more time so you can see. We do 2 steps. We step into it, just like 10-pin bowling, and swing through. That's what I want you to practice, just a few times. Now, have a ball in your hand, step into it, 1, 2, and just swing like that. We're just bowling the ball, getting used to that motion. I'm right-handed, so I want my left foot forward. If I was left-handed, you're right, I'd have my right foot forward. It's the opposite hand to foot. So practice that motion a few more times. Do another roll. Then try and swing it as high as possible. It's really important you get used to that footwork because it's going to be transferable when you get better. Start now, it'll be easy later. Keep trying. Key number 2 is what I call the grandfather clock. Do you remember those super old clocks that have that like pendulum? Click, 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 and have the bird that comes out? Doop, doop, doop. That's what I think about, and that's the arm movements we want to use. Those clocks don't have a bend in the arm and move like this. It moves like this. It's flowy, it's straight through. Look at that, a straight arm all the way to the very end. The grandfather clock. So when you do your 10-pin bowling step up, you're just doing that grandfather clock movement with your arm. And look, my arm is straight all the way through. We want to try and minimize the amount of movements we do. If we add movements like this throughout our serve, we need to think about more. If we minimize the amount of steps, it's going to be simpler. It just makes sense. When you're doing your underarm serve, be very intentional to try and get that straight arm like a grandfather clock. Click, click, click. Key 3 is fist of power. You're going to use the fist. You're going to knuckle up your hand, and I like using this part of my hand because it's hard and it's easy to generate a lot of power. If we open our hand, it's really easy to lose a lot of power in our movements when we don't know how to use our hand properly. So I recommend to start with, use your fist of power and bowl through the ball using this part here. That's nice and hard. It should contact the ball really well. Those are the 3 basic keys to learning your very first serve. Practice those 3 keys and keep them in mind. If you're not getting enough power, it might be because you're not contacting with a hard surface, or it might be because you're not stepping into the ball with your 10-pin bowling strike. Each of these keys mesh into each other, and it's really easy to discount one, but if you discount one, it affects the other keys as well. So be very intentional about your practice and very intentional about what your feet are doing, what your arm is doing, what your fist is doing. Those are very important things to consider. Let's talk about aiming your underarm serve. If I want to aim it right down the line, what I'm going to do with my 10-pin bowling step is step into that area. I'm using my whole body to aim the serve. Take a look. Just like that. Now, if I wanted to serve the ball to that corner over there, step into that area. So instead of walking the line this way, I'm actually going to be using my 10-pin bowling. I'm going to pretend the pins are on that side of the court. So I'm going to walk into that area over there. Just like that. So to aim your serve, it's very, very simple. This is just step one to aiming your serve. It's very simple. It's easy to read from the other opponents, but it's where I want you to start. The last thing I want you to think about is your exploration phase. And what I mean by that is don't just keep doing the same underarm serve every single time. Don't just keep serving line every single time. Don't just keep serving cross every single time. Mix it up. Don't always serve from this side. I remember when I started, everyone did it this single way, so I just thought that was the way people did it. But it's not. Start thinking creatively from step one. Because if you do that, you're going to multiply your growth because you're trying new things. You're learning more, you're experiencing more. Nothing's off limits. This is the starting line. These are guides, but they're not rules. Feel free to go outside the guideline. Let's use this side of my hand and try to hit it really high. Ugh! Didn't work, but I learned something. It's easy to put side spin on it when I contact it like that. If you don't explore these things, if you don't think about these things, you're not going to be learning as fast as you could be. So make sure you understand that all the information coaches tell you are guidelines to learning the skill. Once you've learned that basic skill, go wild. You are free to do anything you want, especially when you're not in official training with your coach. Explore the possibilities. I'm still exploring possibilities with serves, and I've invented a few serves. Some of them aren't very good, but some of them have a lot of potential. So start your creativity journey now. They're guidelines. Do your best to practice everything. If this video helped, please tell me down below that like button. And if you want more volleyball content, I've got tutorials on really advanced serve, like the hybrid serve. I've got volleyball tutorials on passing. If you're interested, subscribe so you get all of my new tutorials that I put so much time and effort into with research to back it up. You get better with your practice, so go practice your underarm serve. Take a look. Oops.